conversation. Car conversation. Sitting in a car, talking about Christianity and the culture. Car conversation. With your hosts, Larry and Larry.
Welcome back to another episode of Car Conversations. I'm here with Larry. How's it going? And today we're going to talk about the current conditions in the culture, the riots and things going on. What do you think about that, Larry? What are some things that you think are driving what's going on right now? Well, to make it short and sweet, to me, what's going on right now, there are a lot of voices and opinions and justified and unjustified positions. But for me, everything is birthed out of a place of fear. When you get into a place of fear that is anchored in hopelessness, that doesn't have any sort of eternal perspective, you tend to make really unnormal, unnatural decisions and actions. I mean, just off the top of my head, I think of someone like King Saul in the Old Testament. Starting out with not even, being the first king of Israel, and, going into that battle, not waiting, making the sacrifice himself. And then when you get into when David came into his life and his jealousy and everything that had happened, every wrong decision he had made was made from a place of fear, either of losing his position or being overrun or anything else. And even moving into like the New Testament, you look at the Pharisees, they seemed to mean well, but at the end of the day, a lot of their decisions were made in a place of fear that this person was taking people away from them, was taking away their influence over the people. And being an occupied nation, that was not very favorable for them. So, you look at the things they did it, they claimed it was blasphemy and all this other stuff, but really they were afraid that this person was either who he said he was and wasn't what they wanted him to be, or he was crazy and they were afraid of his influence. In either circumstance, there was a fear there. And fear is always birthed out of a place of absence of relationship with God. So if you have a place or a position in your life that you're afraid, and you start to feel fear come over you, it typically can come back to a place where you have an absence in relationship with God. So it doesn't mean you're not a Christian or anything else. It's just you've allowed something to become louder inside of you than God's voice is. So to me, I look at what's going on in the world now, in America specifically, and to me, America is not a Christian nation. It's a nation that is compromised, and Christianity just happens to be one of the many religions and ideologies and things that are accepted here. So to me, the reason why people are acting the way they are is because that's what people do when they are feeling hopeless and they are fearful and afraid. It's kind of like that certain animals, you back them into a corner, they tend to lash out and act out, and there's very much justified reasons why people feel the way they do, but the actions tend to oftentimes be unjustified because they're acting out of a place of fear and desperation. So that to me is the short and sweet of it. Even though there's much more to it, but fear tends to drive a lot of things. Yeah, interesting. Well, that gives us quite a bit to think about. Thank you for your time. Thank you guys for coming up.
Thank you for having me.